All right, first up, as airport delays mount, the FAA is blaming the spending cut sequester. They're forcing thousands of air traffic controllers to take unpaid leave, but Republicans blame the Obama administration for selectively choosing which cuts would make us all feel the most pain. Take a listen to Kansas Senator Jerry Moran earlier today.
It certainly seems as if politics is playing the significant role in determining what actions the FAA are taking, and every indication that I have from conversations with my colleagues is it emanates from the White House.
All right, here to talk about what I call the phony crisis and the Obama Democrats' attempt to raise $1.2 trillion in taxes is Texas Republican Congressman, Vice Chair of the Joint Economic Committee, my friend Kevin Brady. And we have Democratic strategist Steve McMahon, and we have townhall.com's Guy Benson are here with me. Mr. Kevin Brady, welcome. You know, I know you blasted the IRS for their furloughs, but I want to just put up, I don't know if you can see this, probably not. I'm going to read the numbers. We're going to show you that the FAA has had a massive, that's the blue line. They've gone from about $2 billion all the way up to over $5 billion in their operating budget since 2008. They're off the peak, but they're still very high. And at the same time, the FAA has gotten this massive increase of $2 billion to over $5 billion. Traffic, domestic traffic, has plunged. From almost 11 million flights down to about 9.5 million flights. So in other words, Kevin Brady, we got more money chasing fewer flights, and yet they're laying off or they're furloughing workers to make life hard. What's that all about?
Yeah, these are the priorities of government, and they would be absurd if they weren't just outrageous. FAA chose to, rather than prioritize air safety and passenger service, which is what taxpayers expect, they chose to inflict as much political pain as possible on the traveling public. They have the money, as you pointed out, and they have a lot less, what I would say, frivolous spending on conferences, consultants, supplies that they could be, frankly, prioritizing. Another thing is they've had a year and a half since the Sequester law became law to set priorities, and now they furlough not non-essential transportation workers, air traffic controllers, and they furlough them as much as the busiest airports in America, in the same ratio as they did the smallest, least used traffic. It doesn't make sense.
That is totally key. They make no distinction. Steve McMahon, I got to you on this. They make no distinction between essential and non-essential. They seem to make no distinctions between these small little towers and, of course, the big city towers. And again, I come to this chart. Maybe we put it up on the full screen again. They have had a gigantic increase in their budget, and I mean a gigantic increase, well over a double, while domestic traffic has gone down. What is that all about?
Well, listen, the choices are made in Washington every single day, and Congress has chosen not to repeal the sequester and not to replace it with other spending cuts. And well, maybe they should. Maybe they should.
Why should the FAA go from $2 billion to over $5 billion in spending in a couple of years?
And 10% is 10%. You know, this sequester passed with a lot of Republican votes in Congress because the Republicans at the time thought it was a great idea to control spending by cutting it across the board 10%. That's what's happening. It's being cut indiscriminately across the board by 10%, and nobody in Congress has done anything to fix it. Democrats or Republicans.
It's not 10%, it's 2%. And we're not talking about...
It's actually less than
10% between now and the end of the year.
It's less than 2% of the total budget.
And it's not even a cut. It's a reduction in the rate of increase.
That's right.
Which I think is an important thing to point out.
As a percentage, though, of what remains to be spent this year, it's 10%.
See, Kevin Brady, I got to go to you. You're on the Ways and Means Committee also. Kevin, from day one, at least on the Senate side and the White House side, they have opposed the sequester spending cuts and, using the president's budget and the Senate Democrats' budget, Kevin Brady, they want to substitute a $1.2 trillion tax hike in place of the spending cuts. Is that not what's at the bottom of this?
That is at the heart of all this. And of course, just look at this. The president proposed the sequester. In fact, he even threatened to veto any bill that changed the sequester.
Right.
Well, now he's on the other side of that. And really, he's just trying to use as much pain on the American taxpayer as he can possibly create in order to justify higher taxes, more spending, more deficits. Everyone knows what this play is all about.
Go ahead, Steve. Fight back. Go ahead.
Well, Congressman, wasn't John Boehner in the room? Wasn't Mitch McConnell present for this sequester deal that was cut? So why are you saying it's the president's deal? The Republicans
Well, it was the president's idea, and he just signed a bill
Have you
he just
guys
signed
fixed it?
a funding
Have you
bill
guys
to lock
fixed
in
it?
these sequester levels.
Well, has
By the
And the
way, can I
president
just
had a
make it?
chance.
By the way, that's not true, Steve. Hold on a second. All these guys on the Appropriations Committee in both the Senate and the House have offered to liberalize rules for sub-accounts. And by the way, the administration has a lot of leeway on sub-accounts. Guy Benson, I come to you again. Okay, I'm in favor of the darn sequester. It's not perfect, but sometime you got to cut spending, and I'd rather do that than raise taxes.
Oh, I agree with that, but can you do it in a slightly smarter way? The Republicans,
That's what I'm asking.
on several occasions, passed laws that would replace the sequester. The president threatened to veto those changes. Again, it was his idea. He signed it into law. The Senate Republicans...
How did it pass Congress?
Hang on.
How did it pass Congress, guys?
Well, bipartisan basis. And then Senate Republicans said, hey, Mr. President, let's give you some more flexibility. And he said, nope, I'll veto
That's
that
the thing.
if you give it to me.
They really
I don't
give
want
more
the flexibility. So
The president
now-
wants the
And
Congress
Larry-
to fix it. That's their job.
No,
it's
the president
Congress's
wants
job
the Congress
to
end
fix
it.
it.
The president wants the Congress to end the spending
And
cut
raise
sequester
taxes.
and raise taxes. Let's be serious. He does not want to tweak the spending cuts. He wants to end the spending cuts so he can raise taxes. You know it, and I know it, and Kevin Brady knows it. Thank you, Mr. Brady. We appreciate it
Thank you.
very, very much. Now, folks, some more bad news. I don't know.